Good morning, children, and welcome to my new class. So, as you all remember, that we were doing my unknown friend. Now, here, as you can see, that we had done till here, this is line number 42. Yes, the man went on, death is always sad. So, very briefly, let me give you a small recap of this, that how the narrator, who is traveling by a train, happens to meet a person who says that he knows him. Now, the narrator actually does not want to let that person know that he has not recognized him yet. So, by different means, he is trying to remember whether he really knows this man or no. So he keeps sharing different incidents like the names of the people, the places where they could have met, but he is not able to recognize him still. So let us move on and read. Now, here, let us read this part, that is from line number 43. See, here he is trying very hard to find out actually who this person is who is trying to tell him that they have already met and they have been very good friends in the past. So, here, let us move on. Death, oh, that was it. Was it? I almost hiccuped. With joy, that was easy. Handling a case of death in these conversations is simplicity itself. One has only to sit quiet and wait to find out who is dead. Now, before this, when he was talking about the loss, this narrator of ours was actually thinking, what kind of a loss did I go through? Was it a monetary loss? Did I lose some money or fortune or anything? He had never thought that he could have lost a person in his life. Yes, I murmured, very sad. But it has its other side too. Very true, especially, of course, at that age. As you say, at that age and after such a life. Strong and bright to the last, I suppose, he continued very sympathetically. Yes, I said, falling on sure ground, able to sit up in bed and smoke within a few days of the end. Now, when he is talking about that person, the narrator, not knowing whom he is talking about, suddenly says that he is talking about the person who has supposedly died. Able to sit up in bed and smoke within a few days of the end. It means that the person who has passed away liked to smoke. What? He said, perplexed. Did your grandmother? It means that that person was talking about his grandmother. And without knowing it, he just said that his grandmother was able to sit up in the bed and smoke. My grandmother, that was it. Was it? Pardon me, I said, provoked at my own stupidity. When I say smoked, I meant able to sit up and be smoked too. Now, to be smoked too, a habit she had, being read to and being smoked to, only thing that seemed to compose her. Now he suddenly changes his dialogue and he says, I meant to say that she liked to sit up with somebody who could sit in front of her and read to her or maybe smoke in front of her. As I said this, I could feel the train slowing down. My friend looked quickly out of the window. His face was agitated. Great heavens, he said. That is the junction. I have missed my stop. So that person suddenly realizes that he had missed his stop. I should have got out at the last station. Say, porter, he called out into the alleyway. Alleyway is the passage in the train. On both the sides there are seats and in between there is a passage. That is called an alleyway. How long do we stop here? So he calls a porter. A porter is a person who carries your luggage. Just 2 minutes, sir. Sir here refers to sir. Called a voice back. She is late now. She is making up time. Time means time. Now she here refers to the train. My friend had hoped up now and had pulled out a bunch of keys and was fumbling at the lock of the suitcase. Now he had a bunch of keys and he was fumbling. Fumbling means he was trying to find out the right key. I'll have to wire back or something. What do you mean by wire back? Wire back means call back. Send money from one bank to another telegraphically. He gasped. Confound this log, my money is in the suitcase. Now he tries to tell him that the suitcase is not opening and my money is in the suitcase. My one fear now was that he would fail to get off. Now, why was this a fear for the narrator? Because he did not want to talk to him anymore, or he did not want to converse with him anymore, because he did not know him, and it was getting difficult for him to answer him fake answers. Here I said, pulling some money out of my pocket, don't bother with the log, here is some money. So he quickly takes out the money from his pocket and he gives it to him and says, don't worry, take this money. Because he wanted him to get down fast. Thanks, he said, grabbing the roll of money out of my hand in his excitement. He took all that I had. Now, when he tried to give him the money, that person in excitement took away all the money that this person, our narrator, was offering. So, here is the picture. As you can see, he is trying to get down. He sprang from the train. I saw him through the window moving towards the waiting room. He did not seem to be going very fast. He sprang from the train. It means he jumped out of the train very quickly. I waited. The porters were calling. All aboard, all aboard. Now, here aboard refers to aboard, means get onto the train. There was the clang of a bell, a hiss of steam, and in a second the train was off. So, the train started moving. Idiot, I thought. He has missed it. And there was his $50 suitcase lying on the seat. Now, that man had left the suitcase there only. I waited, looking out of the window and wondering who the man was anyway. Then I heard the porter's voice again. He evidently was guiding someone through the car. I looked all through the car for it, sir, he was saying. Now again the porter came there. I left it on the seat in the car there behind my wife, said the angry voice of a stranger, a well dressed man who put his head into the door of the compartment. Suddenly there came a man, and he was quite well dressed, and he was very angry. Then his face too beamed all at once with recognition, but it was not for me. It was for the $50 suitcase. Now, here we come to know that the suitcase actually did not belong to the man who had left the compartment. It actually belonged to this man who had come now, who was well dressed, and his wife must have left it by mistake in that compartment. Now, when that man got into the compartment, his face beamed. Beamed means enlightened. He got suddenly very happy and he had a smile. But it was not for the narrator, it was for the suitcase, which was a $50 suitcase. So, here the narrator he comes to know that this man had come for his suitcase, and the man who had left earlier had nothing to do with him. He was just making up stories. So I hope you have understood it. These are the questions, understanding the text. I'll be sharing with you the answers. But for that, first of all, I want you all to go through these questions and try to answer how many ever you can. Doing it on your own would help you more in understanding the chapter. So I hope that you have understood it and you'll be able to do these questions. So have a nice day and keep learning.